is the most satiating and nutritious food in the world, the whole egg. Nevertheless, the color of an egg yolk may vary from light yellow to dark orange. How to choose among all the eggs? What are the best healthy eggs? We want less cholesterol and more nutrients. Healthy hens always lay the best eggs. Is the marking of eggs and packaging precise enough to make the right choice? What are the 4 rearing systems for laying hens? In this video, you will see that there are alternative production methods unfamiliar to the general public. First, let us look at the 4 various systems of rearing, breeding, laying hens corresponding to the marking of eggs. Egg marking consists of a code stamped on each eggshell ranging from 0 to 3. From the best to the worst. Number 3 corresponds to eggs from hens reared in battery cages. There are 2 types of cages: conventional cages, in other words unenriched cages, and enriched cages. Regarding conventional barren battery cages, the birds are forced into individual wire mesh cages barely larger than their bodies, which virtually lock the birds in place, producing chronic stress in hens or birds in general. But there is worse. In some English-speaking countries, a new term, veggie-fed or vegetarian eggs, appears on the label of egg cartons or egg boxes. Those vegetarian eggs are laid from hens that are only fed a vegetarian diet free from meat or fish byproducts. Yet, hens are not vegetarians. They're omnivores. They feed on both animals and plants. They eat table scraps, scraps of cheese, meat or fish, and they also feed on larvae, grubs, worms, insects, bugs, and fresh grass. Vegetarian eggs are the worst because they often come from battery hens fed on industrially produced food, sometimes containing GMOs, genetically modified organisms. As for enriched cages, minimum standards for the protection of laying hens imposed larger battery cages for hens. The minimum height required for enriched cages should permit standing chickens free head movement anywhere in the cage. Many large supermarket chains, on their own initiative or under pressure from animal welfare groups, have greatly reduced or even stopped sales of eggs from laying hens in unenriched cage systems. In parallel with growing awareness of animal welfare questions, demand for eggs from cage-free hens has steadily increased. This brings me to number 2, which corresponds to egg production from non-cage hens. There are 2 alternative production methods corresponding to number 2 on the eggshell: barn or floor rearing. For these 2 rearing systems, we speak of free-run hens. Floor rearing housing allows laying hens to move freely between different levels in the installations inside the buildings. However, the chickens are raised entirely indoors, living in the fields and breathing contaminated air. Barn eggs are produced in open concept barns, allowing hens to roam freely inside the laying barn, where they can perch, nest, and scratch, thanks to perches, nesting boxes, and deep litter systems. Whether for eggs produced by laying hens kept on the floor or in the barn system, those confined poultry houses generate large amounts of waste, which may contain substantial quantities of pathogens. Even though confined fowl have unlimited access to fresh water, they're entirely dependent on the vitamins present in the compounded feed. Omega-3 eggs are laid by hens whose feed is enriched with flaxseed. I will come back to that in a moment. When it comes to number 1, the term free range and the term open air are often used interchangeably when in reality they do not have the same meaning. Free-range hens stay all year long in the hen house, but they can go outdoors in a hen pen attached to the hen house, although not as much as you might think. There is no indication as to the time spent outside. That is the case, for instance, for label rouge free-range eggs from hens having access to open-air runs. In contrast, hens raised in the open air live in a natural environment and are free to roam and scavenge. They have ample forage available throughout the grazing season. This is why those hens are said to be raised on the pasture. Not to be confused with pasteurized eggs, which are packed in a sturdy cardboard carton, unlike fresh eggs packed in a carton for egg trays. With respect to numbers 1, 2, and 3, the hens are conventionally raised. And I saved the best for last, organically raised hens. Number 0, which corresponds to organic eggs from hens raised on the pasture or in the open air. In order to choose the best eggs, read the label carefully. It is interesting to note that organic pasture-raised eggs or organic eggs from hens raised in the open air are recommended both by the Atkins diet and the Dukan diet, which are ketogenic diets, that is to say low-sugar slimming diets. Not only are the hens raised in the open air, but are also fed an organic diet without antibiotics, medications, or preservatives. The hens that produce these organic eggs have a natural grassy field where they can roam and enjoy the fresh air. They are born on the farm and fed on pasture without relying on the excessive feeding of grains. All these factors make them tastier, healthier, and more nutritious. Their saturated fatty acid and cholesterol content is lower, while their essential amino acid content is higher. Amino acids are the building blocks of proteins. They're used in our muscles, in our DNA, and they form the foundation of life. No wonder the fertilized egg embryo can give life. Additionally, organic eggs from hens raised on the pasture or in the open air are the richest in calcium, magnesium, zinc, vitamin B9 and B12, as well as vitamin A and E. Their vitamin D content is up to 4 times greater than standard eggs from caged hens, since hens in the open air have access to direct sunlight and, as everyone knows, sun exposure stimulates the production of vitamin D. Their carotenoid concentration, including lutein and zeaxanthin, is higher, which explains the stronger color in egg yolk. Besides, organic eggs from hens raised in the open air or on pasture contain more omega-3 fatty acids. Be careful, however, not to alter the structure of the fats when cooking. Use a non-stick skillet and cook the eggs sunny side up in the covered skillet for about 4 to 5 minutes over medium heat. The whites are firm, but the yolks are still runny.